Somebody else who's been playing some really good football lately is Leonard Williams, defensive lineman for the Seattle Seahawks. Little revenge game for him this week against the New York Jets. Overall this season, though, from PFF grade perspective, it's the best year that he has had. 86.3 season grade is the top grade overall that we would have for Leonard Williams if something like that holds. This past week against the New York Jets, 92.6 overall grade, 4 total pressures, 3 sacks, as you see there. He had 3 stops, and he had that pick 6 as well, which is a very fun play where he was lined up sort of as the interior player. You had the linebacker. You got trips to the right. You got the linebacker coming down to blitz, but you also have the slot safety, or the slot corner, coming to blitz. Aaron Rodgers knows that. He's throwing hot to the slant, and oh, wait, how did Leonard Williams get there? He tips it up, and then he runs it all the way back for a score. So that was kind of a fun play for him. But just outside of that play as well, your thoughts on Leonard Williams, sort of how he has played over the last couple of weeks. He's playing really well lately, and then just his overall fit. Guy who he's been praised for his versatility, right? I think when he was coming out of USC as well, they thought, okay, doesn't matter, odd front, even front, defensive tackle, defensive end, this guy can play any sort of position. And I felt like for a decent amount of time throughout his career, he's been a part of more of a 3-man front, and it feels like this more predominant 4-man front with Mike Macdonald, right? I'm saying that right. Mike McDaniel, Mike Macdonald. I get very confused with those two names being in the NFL. But Mike Macdonald's defense, it feels as though he's at home. And you get that versatility, but you also get a lot of one-on-one opportunities for him to show his strength there. What do you think about Leonard Williams and how he's been playing?
Yeah, what's really interesting, if you just go through the snap totals this season, right, and you will see decent numbers for kind of every position in the front, including lining up in the box, head up as a nose, or if he's playing stood up as more of a Leo, right side, left side, to your point, playing as a true get up the field 3 technique, which is where I always felt he could be his most effective in the NFL. Just put him there playing 40 snaps, let's all have a good time. Teams have liked to bounce him around and move him around, put him in some more heavier situations. When you just see those alignments, I think it would be understandable to think, well, they just move them around throughout every game. Like, that's what they do. And they do that somewhat. But they've really had a challenge all season long where they've been changing their front structure constantly all season from what they want to be their base load. And they change it massively depending on whether they're playing a kind of Niners base type team in terms of their run style of game. But they just had so many problems fitting the run early in the season. They were trading out different linebackers, right? Finding anyone they could get off the street to play linebacker for them. They would just wholesale shift while they asked to the front every single week. I think what they've got to as a nice kind of middle ground now is recognizing this guy cannot be blocked one-on-one all game. He's going to get 3 or 4 quality wins early in the rep every single game. So we got to find a way to get our most disruptive interior player in good spots as often as possible. And he has just been beating up on some really, really good players. If you go through the list of the guys he's had to play against and who he's either played to a draw or had a higher win rate than he has loss rate, it is like a who's who of really talented interior linemen in the league. Some of them are really good tackles as well. And I just don't think, I'm trying to think of a guy who, if you think of the first sack of the game, where he basically is lined up as a left end, he fires off the ball, he erupts his way through a right tackle, running back double team, essentially, bullies his way through that, then hits a spin move to close to Aaron Rodgers. Are there many other guys who could do that and then play the role of nose tackle and play the role of one-tech penetrator? They're outside of Chris Jones, Larry Ogunjobi could probably do it if asked. There really aren't that many. Dexter Lawrence isn't asked to do that. It's a really wide array of skills, right? Hit someone with a spin move to sack a quarterback and hold the point as a nose tackle against the Niners and do well and get stops and penetrate. Like, it's just hard to find those guys anywhere in the league. So he has given them this ability to on the fly throughout the season, be like, well, that structure didn't work. Let's bin that off and let's try something else. We've got Leonard. He can play basically anywhere for us. And I think they found a really nice sweet spot now of what is required of him, particularly on early downs, and then let him go eat on later downs.
He is, the strength is imposing. Watching this Cardinals game, Tristan Colon, Evan Brown as well on the other side of things, like, he's eating these dudes' lunch. He's getting, if they let him into the chest, it's over. He's gonna forklift them straight back into the quarterback. And so to me, it all starts around the strength portion of the game. I talked about the prerequisite of physicality. When you play in the NFL, you have to be powerful. It's why, as a scout, I'll watch some of these lighter players, like lighter 3 technique players, lighter pass rushers, where, I might be a little bit lower on going into a draft or things like that. And some people might be like, hey, this guy was really productive. He's really fast. Like, what's the deal? Why are you a little bit lower on him? And it normally comes from when I have questions about how much power they can play with. Are they able to hold up in the strength portions of the game? Leonard Williams, a big reason why he was unanimously loved when he was coming out of his draft class is because that was never a worry. That was never something that you really had to think about during his time at USC. It's what allowed people to think, okay, well, is he an interior player? Is he on the outside? Well, it's because he has the strength to play on the interior. And now we see him as more of an interior player than a defensive end, I think. I don't have the snap counts in front of me, but even just watching, the Seattle Seahawks game back, it feels like he's much more inside because that's really where the one-on-one advantages are coming from. He is quick enough to be able to beat guards with quickness, but he's also powerful enough to hold the point of attack, and you're right, be able to anchor as a 1 technique, as a true nose, or whether he's at a 3 or a 4-eye or whatever it is. He is somebody who brings true versatility, and I think we'd like to talk about that with a lot of players, but to me, he is the guy who, man, you pairing him with Byron Murphy, moving forward, next year, this is going to be one of the best interior defensive line duos in the NFL, I think. You start to get even better pass rushers on the outside. You start to get a more reliable linebacker room behind you. This has got the makings of a really damn good front seven, and he's a big reason why I'm excited to have him and Byron Murphy II in that same defensive line room moving forward.
Yeah, and they already used the whole group of them creatively. The 3rd sack against the Jets is an overload front right where he's the middle guy. The 3, you're getting him a design one-on-one. And because he's so powerful, everyone is always thinking, well, if he's not flying off the ball, it's a stun. Everyone is terrified of him just crushing through you, 2 after help. And then everyone is so fast on the Seahawks front. It's like, well, if there's a free space, we are in deep trouble. So they've really layered in this fear of the power move. You can go through Quint Miners, Dominic Pooney. These are really strong guys, top tier, can hold up against everyone. Their game is based on strength type guys, strength and angles and shuffling their feet to absorb power. And he is blasting people into the backfield. The Cardinals game is almost like embarrassing. It's like every single play, he's dumping someone on Kyler Murray's lap. Murray can't see what's happening. He's trying to bail out and do different things. And what I love about his game is he has a really subtle array of ways to actually disengage. Some of these power rushes, right, they just drive and they get parallel to the quarterback. They try and snap off or do something, or they're kind of assist makers, right? And Williams has some of this to his game too, where they drive someone back. The quarterback has to try and move, and an edge guy comes and cleans it up for them, and it's kind of a team effort, team rush sack. He has all these different ways once he is into the backfield and the power moves work to actually get off, and he's nimble enough to go and make plays in the backfield. He's an effort player and a closer in a kind of bull rush body type, and sometimes those two things aren't always that consistent. That's why you cycle through these guys who kind of stunt heavy type players for you along the interior. They can't always close you. They help in the team rush effort. He brings it all. It's really, he's having a remarkable season. He's helped transform that defense every single week. Whatever is asked of him, he's playing at the highest possible level. And there have been fluctuations where one week the role doesn't suit him perfectly, or the matchup isn't great, or they ask him to go and say, hey, you got 20 reps against Trent Williams this week, and it's a tough assignment for anyone, and the grades will suffer because of that. But because of how versatile he is, because of the broad skill set you mentioned that everyone wants a power rusher, whether it's outside or inside, they're able to move him around and do different things to him and get him some advantages on given weeks.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below. So if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.